I want to get into dealing with life at home, right? So a lot of folks, you're already on quarantine. You're on soft and hard quarantines. You have stay at home, stay at safe place kind of stuff. You have curfew stuff. So you have kids that are at home that were supposed to still be in school and they may require some homeschooling. You got kids that were graduating or not quite graduated and now they're home sooner. You got kids that may have been working that aren't working. You still got car payments to make. It's just a lot of stuff. And that's before we even get to your personal relationships, right? Maybe you got someone else at home. You got to balance a marriage and all this. We can't just not keep your relationships healthy. Reaching out to family and friends that may be quarantined, they may be distant. You won't be able to travel. You got to cancel vacations. So now you're working longer periods of time without taking a break. I mean, there's a lot of factors. So, talk to me about what's going on in your life, what you're getting through, what's getting you through, right? So for us, this was something that kind of came out of that by accident, right? I just kind of had always talked about doing an interview show with Jake. I really want to get to these face-to-face interviews as far as the What's Your Story themed show that I want to do. I want to be able to get that. So there's a YouTube channel now. It's called What's Your Story, and you can subscribe to that. I had the Pops on Pop Culture going for a little while last year when I was learning how to use the camera when I first got it. So you can subscribe to that stuff so you can get the videos. But we just found talking about the good times, having memories, sharing those things. Maybe it's time to do that. You're sitting around the house with the family or whatever, and you just start, drudge up some of those positive memories. We don't need to get into a therapy session or anything like that, but let's just find some stuff to do. And then, we had a couple comments, that, so what are you doing to get by? Patricia commented about how she's doing some painting. Man, I tell you what a great hobby, man. You got something like that. You're being creative. You're tapping into your creative mind, your creative spirit. It's truly awesome. And I give you a lot of credit for doing that. I noticed the video keeps freezing up, so let me know if that's the case, because it's just weird, man. Facebook Live is just a little odd. So I'm going to pause for a second just in case it is. I see a couple people kind of coming in and out, so I don't know if it's freezing up or what it is, so sorry about that if it is. Yeah, it looks like it's still buffering, so sorry for you guys. So let me get back to the video clip, and again, if you're catching this, I'm sorry if I got some things going on. I'll be putting this on YouTube so you can watch the whole version. But so let's talk about the family time. What are you doing at home, right? How are you keeping your mind at ease? I've spent a couple shows already about streaming some different movies. There's a lot of movie stuff for free if you have any of those streaming services, even like Amazon Prime, some of these different apps. A lot of movies, if you own digital DVDs, they come with digital copies. You can input those and watch those on your phone or your tablet, those kinds of things. But more importantly, what are your hobbies? What are you hanging around doing in the house to kind of keep your mind going, find those positive places? I puzzle. I'm a big puzzle person. I actually was talking to somebody at work the other day who didn't actually know there's a new resurgence of getting puzzles out on the market, right? So White Mountain is one. Ravensburger is the one I just started. It's a big Disney puzzle. It's a huge Disney puzzle. But they have these great collages, different themes, anything you can think of. This stuff's out there. They run about $12 to $20. Depends on how big they are, how many pieces they are. Shipping matters, so it depends on if you have to have it shipped or not. But a lot of retail outlets that might be open, at least somewhat, might carry some of them. So check online and see if you like to do that kind of thing. Patricia earlier mentioned, painting. So obviously painting, writing, singing. Kudos to Jacqueline, who we saw do she played the piano and posted that online. Please do that. If you got a cool video of your kid, you got a cool video of your talent or something like that, let's just keep thrusting all this positive stuff into the world, right? We're not going to end the negative, but we can at least throw enough positive stuff out there, right? My lovely wife pointed out that it's just wonderful to be baking, right? She's just cooking. We're doing some diet stuff. She's doing keto. She's been amazing, man. She's 60-something pounds. She's I saw a picture of her from 2016, and I couldn't recognize it. It was just shocking, what a difference it is. And the keto diet's been great for her. And she got me doing it. I've been losing some weight. I've been feeling pretty good. And I got to be honest, man, the world has shrunk. It used to be hard to find certain things. You're like, well, my stores don't carry that. Well, you go online. who has it. Most of these places, in our area, there's a place called Chuck's, and it's like you go online and you find some sort of keto product, and it'll tell you this store has it. You put your zip code in, it finds places that you have it. So find something that you're interested in and really explore that. Let's talk about like family photos. When's the last time you dug through all your stuff that you know you should do something with, right? Maybe you got digital photos you need to download. Maybe it's digital photos that you need to have printed. Maybe it's this kind of thing. And again, you can have those printed in order, right? CVS and Walgreens are still up and running. They have special hours for seniors. They have really not a lot of business probably in their photo sections. So you could probably order prints or order books, make great gifts. What a great time to spend some time being a little extra thoughtful how to put together a photo book or something like that for an upcoming birthday or something like that. That's something you can pick up that's not real expensive, and you can mail it, so you don't really miss out on an opportunity to give them something special from the heart in this kind of weird time where we're very limited with what we can do and how we can get around. And the other thing I think is important right now is just the relationship building, right? Spend time with your kid, spend time with your grandkids, spend time with your mom or your dad. Just talk to them on the phone if you can't see them right now. Maybe you're still working. Just try to work on those kinds of situations so that, you keep your mind going on some positive things too, right? Just make those phone calls, check on people. Maybe they're far away. Travel's been limited. There's curfews, all these different things. So maybe it's time to just talk to some high school friends. Maybe it's time to just reconcile with people that you haven't talked to very much, and made them write a letter, and have somebody pick it up and drop it out of the post office for you, or shoot them some emails and send them some photos, email them some pictures or something. I think right now, one of the things that we need to do is make sure that we're not focused on just the news or just how to get material objects like toilet paper, who would have thought, but also about our mental health, that we're taking care of ourselves mentally, spiritually. If you feel like you're alone, you're having a hard time, then maybe it's time to evaluate some of those tough spiritual questions and what it means. And, life can change during hard times, right? Life can change during hard times. And there's nothing wrong with knowing that you're not alone and let other people know that you're going through some of the same stuff. So if you got any of those kind of tips, Patricia's got another one. Says she's playing lots of solitaire. I didn't mention cards. A lot of people play cards. I don't get to play cards very much. Solitaire, great idea. Getting into cleaning out and downsizing. Oh man, isn't that true? So we were doing that before all of this happened. So it's been a lot easier to kind of keep the foot on the pedal with that, keep the foot on the gas to kind of keep that going, like cleaning, purging, making some donation drops, because you don't need to be around anybody to do that. Like there's going to be times a day where you can go out, plan a trip, make all your errands in one trip, right? Don't be making 3, 4, 5 trips. Make a trip. I gotta go to the grocery store. I'll throw this in the post office. Go to one of those boxes that's outside. Go to one of those donation things for clothing or something like that. Do those kinds of things in a very strategic way, so you can minimize infection risk. You can minimize being around people and those kinds of things. She also says, this is Patricia still, said I will to get out and get a bunch of stuff at a yard sale and thrift stores. I think, if you can watch the distance thing, keep your distance. A lot of those places are probably really slow. I got to be honest, the clearance section in Walmart, we didn't really go there to look through all that stuff, but if the place is kind of empty, or you can keep, I easily could have walked through those areas and had 20 feet or whole sections to myself. So if you're looking for that, this isn't the worst time in the world to do some of that. And again, if you're a senior, take advantage of those early shopping mornings where you can get a little bit of time in doing some of that. Also, if you have gloves, just wear gloves when you're shopping. You're getting it on there, throw them away. Don't even take it home with you, man. Just throw it away. Don't get in your car with it. Just throw it out, right? But just stay active. Stay mentally active. That's really where I wanted to focus some time, right? The first part was about businesses and those kinds of things, and you can watch that clip. This one's more about like your family, your home life, relationships, that kind of thing. All right, Pat says writing letters to friends is great. Absolutely. Man, if you can just, even if it's an email, a lot of people don't want to write letters and whatever. I don't know, something cool about getting a letter, right? But send an email a picture. You can go to Facebook, you can right click most photos and it will say save as. You can save that as. I always recommend changing the name to something you can find, by the way. Don't leave it the number, because they'll give us some crazy thing you'll be able to find. name it, and then email a picture to somebody. Say, hey, listen, do you see this? You know, they'll want to see new pictures of your family members. Maybe it's one of us that's posting pictures of the grandkids, and now you can share it with an aunt or an uncle or someone in some other state, and they're locked down or whatever. Let's see. And it just blows them away. She says it just blows them away when they get a letter. Yeah, because people, if they're not admitting it or not, a lot of folks are feeling lonely. They're feeling sad. And I got to be honest, it's going to be a lot more of that. There's probably going to be a lot more tragedy. People that are not prepared for this. People that have been told it's not that big a deal, and it is a big deal. So expect some more of that too. So it's important for you to stay active and smart and think about that so you can be healthy and wise during that. You know, how are you, you talked a little bit about some of your hobbies. How do you keep your mental health right now, right? And that's kind of what we want to talk about. Like, what's working for you? How are you getting through and getting by? Because it's just not going to be super easy. And I don't think we want to look past that and come up with solutions that are good. Like I said, we've talked about painting. We talked about doing yard work. And obviously there's no rush on yard work. Do a few minutes at a time. Take a break. Go have a glass of cold water or some iced tea or whatever you drink, and then go back out there, do a few more minutes. Do a few minutes per day and just kind of, dabble with that. Go outside. Different hobbies. We talked about, checking your photos, emailing, writing letters. I do puzzles. I watch a lot of movies and stuff like that. So I'm going to actually do a lot of movie reviews here in a minute on some older movies. So it's easy sometimes to keep up to date on the newer movies. We're kind of at a standstill with that, right? New movies aren't going to happen anytime soon. I mean, some of the big movies that were coming out in May and June, we don't know when they're coming out, or they're going to come out like in August at the earliest. So that's not happening. So try doing those things that keeps everybody busy, keeping their mind going on things that are working and that kind of thing. And like I said, if you're watching this after the fact, just know you can always head over to YouTube, where I'll have What's Your Story. You'll see my page. I post this stuff on my personal wall, post these things to the pages. So I have a professional page, is the Brandon Jones page. What's Your Story is a page. Pops is a page. It's just the nature of the life right now. It's just weird doing this kind of stuff and that kind of thing. But what works for you to keep your mind going, keeping your mind healthy? How are you nursing your relationships? Rick, for instance, thanks for joining me, Rick. Tell me, how are you nursing the relationship with your spouse and your kids and your work and all the different things? Because man, we got curfews and shutdowns, and it's just a different world right now. So what are some of the advice and tips that you have? Because we've been talking about some of those things, talking about trying to stay active and work on hobbies, work on to-do lists. One guy's telling me how he's going to do some renovation on his house. I think it's a great idea. Like, now's a great time. You can just drop a few $100s on a project, man. You got time on your hands. Yard work is awful, but maybe now than ever you can devote 20 or 30 minutes a day for a week. Next thing you know, you've done 3, 4, 5 hours of yard work in a couple weeks, and you got a whole new looking yard. You can order a lot of stuff online to help with that. You don't even have to go in the store, right? A lot of these places like Lowe's, you can order it. They'll bring it out to your car, or they'll order it and you can walk right into the door where it's right there and pick it up. So you don't have to worry about being exposed to 6 different people and those kinds of things. The thing about food, we talk about going out to restaurants. Look, restaurants are closed, but I mean you can't have the food, right? So have a picnic. Have a picnic in your house, right? You order the food, you pick it up, they bring it out to your car. Treat yourself once a week or something. Patronize those places that you don't want to go out of business, right? If you got favorite food, you don't go out of business. And also, if you're having trouble finding food or something like that, and you luck into something, call your family or friends and say, listen, there's some bleach wipes here. You need some bleach wipes? Or hey, you got enough milk right now. They got a whole bunch of milk right here. You kind of have to look, let's be there for one another, man. Let's have each other's backs and help each other out. So feel free to post any of those tips. And I think so many of you have done that tonight, just kind of helping us talk about this and spin some positive stuff and suggestions. One thing, for instance, I want to give advice to and a big shout out to my daughter, Taylor. Taylor Reed does a 9 p.m. Tater Tips. It's about homeschooling kids and education and that kind of thing. It's brand new, something she's done for 3 or 4 days, because so many parents are stuck They don't know what to do. I've seen stuff. There's one guy, he posted it online. It was kind of a joke. This poor little boy or girl wrote something like, "My mom is so stressed out with me. She wishes I was back in school," that kind of thing. Because some parents didn't know they didn't know they were up for this. They didn't know, boom, you got kids. And also think about people that were supposed to graduate, right? I got a girl at work who's just really traumatized because she's got one child's graduating high school, one's graduating college. They're not going to have ceremonies. One, the high school, she missed out on prom. They're really having an emotional time, like, wow, we've been cheated. And there's no real villain in this. There's no real enemy. It's just an emotional baggage that you now are carrying. And it's a sadness and a regret. And I hope people can come up with solutions, even if it means you have one during the summer or something like that. But if you know someone that's going through that, shoot them a heads up. Shoot them some encouragement. Nurse those relationships. Look online for different services, different meetings, seminars. A lot of this stuff has gone online. You don't have to watch the news. You can just plug into the news for a few minutes in the evening, catch up what's going on, look at what might affect you. But you can watch stuff on YouTube. There is so much how-to stuff on YouTube. Just type in something that you were remotely interested in, and there'll be someone that's teaching you how to do it. Actually, I've told people that. If you don't know how to fix something, your best solution is to go to YouTube. There's probably a 12-year-old that's teaching you how to do it. It's actually kind of, humiliating in some ways. But I find that there are what they call master class. If you've never heard of a master class, it's someone who's been successful in a field explaining to you how to do that or what some of their tips are. The other thing you can look up is also called a TED Talk. If you're not familiar with those are truly incredible little seminars. They're usually short. I would say 10 to 20 minutes. They are the best and brightest minds in the whole world talking about whatever topic you want to talk about. So again, that's called Masterclass and TED Talk. Now, TED Talks are all over YouTube and they'd be free. Don't get confused with Masterclass because there's Masterclass that could be a free one on YouTube. So you can tell by how long it is. If it's only a minute or two, it's probably a commercial for Masterclass. Masterclass actually has a company now where you can pay and you get all of these different classes. But people do call it a master class. Like I'm gonna do a master class on how to shoot a video like this. And it'll be 10, 15, 20 minutes of how you set up a camera and how you do this and how you do that. So if you have a hobby like that, or Patricia talked about painting, maybe she wants to kind of like level up at something that she's interested in. My wife Laura is watching documentaries on nutrition and health and these kinds of things, learning different things. How do you farm and raise chickens and do these different things? And I think no matter what our interests are, there's information out there. Maybe, you've got coins at home or a collectible. You don't know how much stuff is worth. Maybe now's the time to sit on eBay and try to find it. Maybe it's time to Google several times. Look for details on it. Ask for some advice on how to find out how much something's worth. Maybe it's time to sell it, let go of something. You got time to figure it out. I do some of that on the side. I don't have too much time to devote to it, but a couple bucks here and there keeps you busy, keeps your mind going on some things. That's something to think about. Like I said, we talked a lot about cleaning out the house, purging a lot of stuff, just being kind in our everyday life of going about things and trying to stay active. So that's what we were talking about tonight. I hope you've enjoyed that, got something out of it. Share your ideas. If you're watching this way after the fact, just know that it'll always alert me if you leave a comment or a thought. So if something pops in your mind, don't hesitate to do that. If you got ideas for a future show or something you want to talk about, feel free to let me know that as well.